Welcome back, and so today I just wanted to talk about Meadows of Elfhame. So last week I spoke about Robin Artison's old site, Meadows of Elfhame, and I'm bringing it back to life. So what I want to do today is just take you through a quick tour. But first, the intro, because it's cool. Okay, so Meadows of Elfhame. Now, if you didn't watch the previous video where I mentioned this was a website that I came across almost 20 years ago. And it's when I was looking for something more raw in witchcraft. Traditional witchcraft as the ancestors would have actually practiced it. Trying to reconstruct, get back to the roots. And it really, really, really did change my life. It's brought me onto a path that just brought me back to life, really. It really did. Honestly, it really did bring me back to life. It makes you feel alive. It made me feel alive, and I think a lot of other people as well, because a lot of people often spoke about it over the years, and I used to send people to the site to experience it and to learn traditional witchcraft and paganism, whenever they were looking for that direction. And then it disappeared. So I was very upset. But back in those days, the old days, I actually downloaded the whole thing as a PDF. So I could read it offline. Because it is quite a long, it's not one of those quick little, here's a bit of information, thank you very much, and move on. The PDF I think was 185 pages long. So it's not just a quick visit and that's it. There's a ton of information in it. It's packed with all sorts of information. So I just want to show you the website and just take a quick tour through it, and so you can get an idea. And then you can have a look for yourself and go read it. It really is fantastic. I definitely encourage you to go and check out the site and read all the stuff. I have kept it to as much to the original as I possibly can. So the images and the text itself is all original. I did remove backgrounds because they're a bit distracting, I felt. And the old site, if you ever went to the old site, you'll probably remember the MIDI music that used to play. I've removed that because it's 20 years later. We've moved a little bit beyond MIDI music. So anyway, let me just show you. Okay, so when you land on the site, it is at leewjohnson.com/meadows. There's a note from me, just some background that I decided to write, and then a new note from Robin. Just giving you a bit of information. Just read through those because there's some valuable stuff in there. He also mentions the book that is being produced at the moment, which should be out soon. Once that's out, I'll actually add it to this site or link to it so you can go buy it. If you do go to the menu, it's very quick, very short. You can start the journey. There's credits and bibliography because there's a lot of information that comes from some of the older books, and then contact. You can get hold of me or Robin. So once you've gotten there, you get to start the journey, and here you enter the actual Meadows of Elfhame. It's a bit of introduction, and then you can go to the site map, which gives you a sort of an overview of the whole thing. Where to actually go visit first, second, third, fourth, etc. And under each one, you can then view the lessons that you actually have from each character. So each place, like the Cunning Man's Cottage, for instance, is Bruan, the character Bruan, who's based on Robert Cochrane or Roy Bowers. And Agnes is the witch-wyf. So you got all these different characters through the different places. So that gives you all the lessons. And then you go back to the Meadows of Elfhame, and you can start taking the journey. So you start at the crossroads, and so it has a bit of a path working, really. It's kind of one of those, you know, those old books that you used to get, the adventure books, where you read to the end of a page, and then you can choose which action you want to take next, and depending on the action, you then go to a different page in the book, and your adventure then continues. So you start here. Your journey to this place has taken you most of the day. As the sky starts turning to grey, you come into a small stand of trees where the road you are following is crossed by another. From this place you can continue on in 3 directions, and from here you can see what shall await you at the ends of these roads. One path leads to a rustic-looking cottage, which must be the home of the cunning man that is reputed to live in this small wood. The path straight ahead leads deeper into the Three Sisters Wood, and the mysteries that it must hide. The last path, leads away from this wood and out into the far world, and its attendant collections of heathlands, wastes, rolling open fields, and scattered forests. Which path will you take? So then you can take the 3 paths. So, you know, start on the first visit, and you get to the cunning man's cottage. You know, it's again a bit of a path working. So you step in, you meet Bruan, and then he starts giving you his lessons. So as I say, Bruan is based on Robert Cochrane. So, for instance, if you go to the lesson on ethics, then you'll find the witch law, which was written in a letter to Joe Wilson back in the day. So that's you know, it's information that comes straight from actual traditional paganism and traditional witchcraft, and the cunning men and the cunning folk that actually practiced it. So you can learn about a lot of different stuff, the who's all, etc. If you can go back to the crossroads then and take one of the other roads, or you can go onto the Covenstead, which is also part of Bruan's territory. And he then will teach you about the implements, hallowing the implements, and actually hallowing the ground and doing weatherworking. And if you go into one of these, again, there's a lesson. A lot of information, and you can go back to the Covenstead, and then you can go back to the crossroads, where you can then take one of the other paths, for instance to the Three Sisters Wood, and a bit of an intro, and then you can continue on into the Three Sisters Wood, where you get to the dwelling of the witch-wyf, who is Agnes, and she will give you some lessons. Very interesting stuff. The Twilight Sleep, for instance, is brilliant. The Law of the Fetch, very important stuff in traditional paganism. Then you can go back to the crossroads, or you can go on to Elfhame itself. Continue on, and you get to Elfhame. So you obviously go through all these different little areas. So you go on the low road, and then you enter into the cave, and then from the cave you actually get to Elfhame. And a lot of very, very interesting lessons here as well. And you know, it's, as I say, it's quite an extensive website. It's quite an extensive teaching. So you definitely need to take your time to go through it all. If I'm actually in the incognito browser at the moment, but if you're in a normal browser, you'll find that each one actually gets changed to a different color after you've visited, so you know where you've been. Sorry, I should have actually recorded this on a normal browser window. So yeah, you definitely need to take your time, but as I say, once you've visited a place, the color of the link will change. It goes lighter, so you know if you've been there or not, so you don't get too lost. But definitely take your time going through this. It is extensive. It's packed with tons and tons of information. I just want to go to the credits and bibliography, because you can see here this, the bibliography. It covers an extensive amount of books. Nigel Jackson's brilliant. Call of the Hornpiper is an excellent book. Read that one. Didn't read this one from Evan Jones or Evan John Jones. Nigel Jackson, also excellent work. That Sacred Mask, Sacred Dance is a fantastic book. And Roebuck and the Thicket. Brilliant. All of these brilliant books. Pillars of Tubal Cain, very exciting work. The Underworld Initiation, is it the one I've got from R.J. Stewart? Don't think it's that one, but anyway. R.J. Stewart, excellent work. All of these, they're just, I mean, if you actually want, this is an excellent book list. This is a brilliant book list. If you really want to get into traditional witchcraft. And also, this site was actually done before Robin started writing, so definitely go to Robin's site. You can get there through the contact. And, you know, if you go into Robin's site, you can find his books. He's got quite a few books out now, you know, that he's written over the past 20 years. The first one, I'm sure this was the first one. Witching Way of the Hollow Hill is the one I spoke about at the end of last month. But he's got some very good stuff. I see he's also writing fiction now, which I must get hold of. That should be interesting. Anyway, so that is the Meadows of Elfhame. Now back to life and for everybody to go and experience. I'm very excited about this because now whenever somebody wants traditional witchcraft, I can actually send them to the site again. So that's it for this week or for today, and I'll see you on Friday. Have a good one. Cheers.